podcast, eh?
Yeah, I do. I do with a couple buddies.
Yeah, I watched a bit of it. It was pretty. Do you just talk about meat? I don't know. I shouldn't have brought it up because I clearly haven't watched enough of it to.
Primarily meat, but we touch on other non-meat-based products as well.
That's awesome. Okay, I'll check it out after this probably. Cool. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Film Franchise Fortnights on the Cult Popture podcast. You're speaking with AJ.
And Richard.
And today we have a very special guest who's Skyping us all the way from... We're in America, right? Somewhere in America. You don't have to give out where.
I am in the middle of absolute nowhere, Wisconsin, America. So
awesome.
It's good to be finally in some civilization here.
Yeah, it's Gus Johnson, everybody. You may have seen him over YouTube Haiku and the Gus Johnson subreddit.
And he looked at his cat a lot one time.
Yeah. You might recognize him from such videos as Vera Bradley and Man Looks at His Cat 11,000 times. I watched the whole thing, by the way, Gus. I want you to know.
Did you really? I can't say the same for myself. So that's very
I came home one day and AJ was watching it, and I was like, "What is this?" And then a couple of weeks later, he was like, "I got the cat guy."
Yeah, so this is a pretty cool guest star we have. This is, I think, our first guest star with a subreddit dedicated to him.
Probably the first guest with an accent.
First guest.
Not that he knows he has an accent.
Yeah, that's true. But I heard a story from Adam, who's also been on the podcast once. He told me that he knew some people from Nebraska, and when they were talking to them about accents, they said, "We're from Nebraska. We don't have an accent," which is real funny. Anyway.
That was pretty good, though. That sounded very Nebraskan. That was not bad.
Thank you. I also do a good Fargo, but let's move on.
Okay. Like he does an impression of the entire movie.
Yeah, the entire series. Today we're talking about Jurassic Park. Sorry, this is Film Franchise Fortnights. This is where we watch a different film franchise every fortnight. I didn't say that part though.
No, people would have been confused.
Yeah, and this time we watched the Jurassic Park series. The Jurassic Park. There's 4 of them. Have we worked out a good word for a 4 series?
We used saga in the past.
Have we? Saga? Quadrilogy? Do people say quadrilogy?
Like DVD box sets do, but...
Do you wanna weigh in on this, Gus?
I mean, that sounds more regal, of course, quadrilogy, but I think saga's the safer play.
Yeah. And I mean, as we'll talk about, I'm sure later on, it's not like there's only ever gonna be 4. So... But
spoilers.
That's a bit of a teaser for later on in the episode. So the first film in the series was called Jurassic Park, and it came out in 1993 and was directed by Steven Spielberg. That was followed up by The Lost World Jurassic Park in 1997, also directed by Steven Spielberg. And both those first two were based on novels by Michael Crichton. And another fun fact there is that The Lost World was written as a sequel to the movie that they wanted Michael Crichton to write so that then they could make another movie.
Yeah.
Which is a real roundabout way of
fact
of
as
making
well.
it.
Michael Crichton's dead as well.
That's not very fun.
It's a fact.
That's true. In 2001, Joe Johnston directed Jurassic Park 3. And then 14 years later, we came back with Jurassic World and with Colin Trevorrow directing it. The series stars a bunch of famous people, most notably Sam Neill, Jeff Goldblum, Chris Pratt, and Bryce Dallas Howard. Am I omitting any, like...
Vince Vaughn,
Wayne Knight?
William H. Macy.
Yep. What's your name?
Exactly.
Who's from...
Tia Leone.
That's what I was thinking of.
Fun fact about Tia Leone. Do you want to I feel like you have to. We've got a special guest.
Oh, no. What are you going to say?
I'm letting you tell the story.
No, I'm not telling the story. I told you.
You have a Tia Leone story?
Don't we all?
Oh, no. Oh, I hope no one listens. I hope my mum doesn't listen to this.
Well, you haven't told the story yet.
Maybe I shouldn't. You tell it. I don't think I could spit the words out.
Tia Leone was the first female actress that AJ looked at in a certain light while he was doing
Let's leave it at that. I am never telling you anything ever again.
You can't tell me that story and then get a franchise with Tia Leone in it and not expect me to tell it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, collectively, let's get back to Jurassic Park. Collectively, the Jurassic Park series has grossed $3.6 billion worldwide and is the 11th highest grossing franchise of all time.
That's pretty decent.
So that's 2 in front of Shrek,
Nice.
which we established last time. Hey Gus, let me throw to you. Let me ask you a question. Can you rank the films? Which one do you like the most or least?
Oh, easily. And I have made this argument for years. It's kind of a contentious opinion. First of all, I feel like the most popular opinion and my solid opinion is that the first one is so clearly above all of the rest of them. It's just so immersive, the best story arc at all. So I would, from top to bottom, best to worst, I would rank them Jurassic Park 1, Jurassic Park 2, The Lost World, Jurassic World, and then way much farther down there, I would put Jurassic Park 3.
Oh, you said it was a contentious opinion. I'm not sure that it was a contentious opinion. But Richard, can you rank them for me?
I would... up until I watched them again, I would probably agree with Gus. But it's just so, yeah, definitely first one is the best. And then I'm kind of inclined to put Jurassic World next, just because in terms of rewatchability, I'd like the second one is a better film, but I did find myself struggling to get through the last act when we watched.
I think the difference is the second one's still a Spielberg film.
Yeah, definitely,
and that just has a richness to it that Jurassic World doesn't.
Yeah,
have.
well, I'd say I like Jurassic World for the same kind of reason I like The Force Awakens.
Right.
Is that like I admit it's flawed, it's not perfect, but it's so easy to watch because it's a you know, mid 2010s.
It's a fan service movie.
Yeah.
It's pure fan service.
But yeah, like as we'll talk about later, I'm sure. And then sorry, my would be Lost World and then Jurassic Park 3. But like Lost World still has some really great scenes in it. They could easily be in the first one.
Yeah.
Whereas the third one, when they try to do it,
the third one, the pterodactyl scene in the third one is a high quality scene. That could go. That could go in the first 2 movies easily.
But it could go on the second one.
Yeah. I would say probably Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, Lost World, Jurassic Park 3. But there was a time in my life where I evangelized for Jurassic Park 3. So I saw Jurassic Park 3 in 2001 when I was 7 years old. 7 years old. I saw it with my dad, and like I was so excited. I don't think I'd even seen the first one at that point, but it's one of those movies. You know how people like Space Jam, Gus, even though it's a real shitty movie. Yeah. It's kind of, Jurassic Park 3 is kind of like that for me, and for years I was like, Jurassic Park 2 sucks. Like the dinosaur in the city, that's such a stupid scene, but Jurassic Park 3. Like, that's awesome. And then I rewatched the first one, and it's... oh, I was wrong. But I don't know, I've always... Like, Sam Neill was my first favourite actor. He was the first actor I was like, this guy's my favourite, you know? And so I think Jurassic Park 3 was quite a formative film for me. But no, I would definitely... I would say Jurassic Park 3 is the only one in the series that's a bad movie. I think I can say that now.
It's so different in so many ways too. I mean, it's so considerably shorter, and it feels like such a sloppy throwback to a formula that mostly worked for the first 2. I mean, it was so great to see Sam Neill back again. Yeah. But it just seemed like both fictionally, like in terms of in the actual movie and with the actor himself, it just felt like he kind of didn't want to be there, and it really translated to the audience.
Well, it makes sense that the character didn't want to be there because he's been chased by dinosaurs.
Well, yeah.
That's also I've got written down here is that the problem with each film is that it's hard to believe that the same terrible thing would, like, the same idea would happen again. Like, how do you get Dr. Alan Grant back to a dinosaur island? You know, that's such an impossible idea. They trick him, exactly. I think I would have preferred if they just flat out knocked him out and like took him there as yeah, I know, but like not like first.
He took a lot of money. He took a large check of money to be flown over the island. Yeah. And so you can kind of understand it because he's like, oh, you know, dinosaurs are cool.
But wouldn't it have been better if, like, he was kidnapped? Do you not think that? I don't know. I'm just saying. Not only is it hard to believe that both Alan and Dr. Malcolm would go back or go, find dinosaurs again. Though Dr. Malcolm did have a better motivation than Alan.
I think both reasons for getting to the island. Malcolm was like, because I can understand that Julianne Moore's character would want to go, and then that Malcolm would want to go to try and save her, and then I believe Grant's.
Okay. Well, I sort of also mean like it's hard to believe that whoever picks up the pieces would be like, I'm going to make the Jurassic Park that works this time, because it hasn't worked 4 times now. Yeah. What's Jurassic World 2 going to be about? If they build another park, like, I'm out. That's so stupid. They're dumb.
Well,
you know what I mean?
That's a problem though. Like, it's such an unfortunate thing because the first Jurassic Park 2, I mean, it's such a perfect model for a movie too, and it's something that's been done before. A disaster theme park kind of idea, and it sucks that the movie was successful in a way because it begs the studios to say, please make more of these, but there's only so many times you can have the disaster in the theme park kind of thing. Even if you stretch it to the island, it just kind of sucks, and it tends to water down the series, and that's just unfortunate as a whole.
So I'll reveal to you guys the Rotten Tomatoes scores for
each
film. Which, as we
know, is the be-all and end-all of film.
Well, it's not the be-all, end-all, but it's a way to get a good general consensus. And we sort of share... So Jurassic Park 1 has 93% on Rotten Tomatoes. The Lost World Jurassic Park is 51%, which is actually a lot lower than I would expect, considering Jurassic Park 3 has 50%. So,
the difference between... Well, I guess people are comparing The Lost World to Jurassic Park, and they're comparing Jurassic Park 3 to The Lost World.
I'm so confused if you're saying TWO or TO when you're saying 2. You're like, I don't know if they're comparing Jurassic Park 2, The Lost World, or Jurassic Park 2, The Lost World. Even though that's not
fair point.
But well, they're comparing the second one to the first, which is why it's so bad. And they're comparing the third one to the second, which is why it's like, eh. And then I'm guessing Jurassic World has roughly 72%.
72% on Rotten Tomatoes.
And then people are comparing that to the third one.
Yeah, sure. That's a good way to look at it. Yeah. Cool. No, I guess that's expected.
I feel like Gus was going to say something.
Sorry, Gus, were you going to say something?
No, I mean, I was going to say that's always how, I mean, with a franchise, I feel like that's usually how it'll go. I mean, everything is kind of compared to, okay, what disappointed us the last time, what pleased us the second time, so.
It's interesting as well because I feel like this is a really good example for when people say sequels suck. You'd point to Jurassic Park as like a prime example because up until the 4th one, they're of diminishing quality each time. But like, since doing this podcast, Richard, I hazard to say, like, I've liked more sequels in franchises than I thought I would. Like, maybe it's just because we've watched a lot of bad franchises, but something like Freddy vs. Jason...
the 6th Friday the 13th is the best one. Yeah.
And it's like, almost objectively the best one. Like, it feels like it does everything right. So, I don't know, it's interesting. But, yeah. Hey, I've got a question for you guys.
Cool.
What do you think the voice actor for the DNA strand thought of his script? So in Jurassic Park 1, when what's his name, John Hammond is showing everyone around the park, he shows them how the dinosaurs were made with a little cartoon DNA that's like, well, we got amber with mosquitoes frozen in it, and we took the DNA. Like, clearly that guy's voicing it's a contractor. I'm assuming they probably got him off a website and were like, hey, can you read this?
Who it was?
Who was it?
Oh, no.
No, I didn't see who it was, sorry. But do you think he saw the script and was like, what the fuck? Or anything for money, I guess. But yeah, I wonder if... do you guys think he believed it? Do you think he was part of the Jurassic Park team? Or?
Well, Gus, I'll let you feel this one. I'm going to quickly do some Googling.
Well, I mean, you mean like fictionally speaking in terms of the movie, or like the real world guy that was actually voicing it for the film?
Oh my gosh, I hadn't even thought of that. Like, yeah, imagine if they just gave this voice actor a script and didn't tell him it was for a movie, and he's just he reads it and he's like, they've brought dinosaurs back? This is amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure the guy gets the script, and his agent says, hey, listen, here's a piece for a Spielberg movie.
Yeah.
Buckle up, this is your ticket to stardom, and he reads this. It would have to have just sounded like the most contrived garbage. Like, I feel like he was just questioning, his agent's legitimacy after that.
But. Yeah.
So it's the guy who voiced him in real life.
Yeah.
Was a guy called Greg Burson who took over all of Mel Blanc's voices on Animaniacs and Tiny Toon Adventures and everything. And then Colin Trevorrow voices him in Jurassic World.
Okay, that's interesting then. So probably wasn't a member of the parks. I guess we don't see the whole
Well, it spared no expense.
Yeah,
he got Mel Blanc's
we got Mel Brooks' replacement. We spared no expense. What's his name?
Mel Blanc.
Who's Mel Brooks?
Mel Brooks is
he's the director of all the Spaceballs.
Yeah, and he's the voice of the robot in Robots. He's big whale.
Oh, okay. Cool. So one sort of interesting
see a
trademark.
need, fill a need.
One sort of interesting trademark of not only the Jurassic Park films but also a lot of Spielberg films in general are children in the films.
Yep.
Like all the Jurassic Parks have either at least one central child actor. Let me ask you guys.
And sometimes they ruin the film.
Which one ruined which film the most? That's the question. Who was the worst kid?
Ooh, I want to let you feel this one first because I got to think on this.
Okay. Strangely enough, the best kids. I'll rank them from best to worst. Mm-hmm. Tim in the first one,
mm-hmm.
and the kid in the third one.
Yeah.
Are the two best ones.
Okay.
And then everyone else is tied for worst film character of all time.
Even Gray. You didn't like Gray in Jurassic World?
No.
No?
How he whines that his parents are getting divorced for one scene and then it's never referenced again.
Oh, let's talk about that real briefly. Gus, do you know what a Chekhov's gun is?
I do not know.
So Chekhov's gun is like a filmmaking term that basically says don't put a gun on the wall in your scene if it's not going to go off because it's not needed. So don't include things in your film if it's not going to pay off. And Jurassic World is ripe with unfired Chekhov's guns. So it's actually really interesting because it's sort of like a really clear case of it. At the start of the film, you see the older brother kissing with his girlfriend, and he looks real sad when he gets in his car to go to Jurassic World. And then throughout the first half of the movie, you see him looking, checking out other girls and flirting with other girls, and then nothing happens.
Yeah.
He doesn't learn, maybe I should be faithful. He doesn't
even if they just there was he learned a lesson about being a better person. I could accept it as character development that he's a shitty person. Without having to necessarily break up with his girlfriend or go through some kind of thing. But again, they talk for a scene about mum and dad are getting divorced. Cool. That's it.
We can only assume that mum and dad do get divorced because those two actors are not contracted for the kids. Kids. They're not going to be in the sequel, at least not yet. So I guess that's the last we'll hear of that riveting saga. Yeah.
So we were talking about kids.
Yes.
The kids in the fourth one are just they're so nothing.
Yeah.
I like Ty, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Who played Gray, but he was pretty bad in that. The girl in the second one, mm-hmm. Jeff Goldblum's black daughter, is responsible for the worst scene in the entire franchise.
Yeah.
Was that the gymnastics scene?
That's the gymnastics scene.
Yeah, and so up until Jurassic World, that was the only time in the entire franchise that a human kills a dinosaur.
Yeah.
And it's through the power of gymnastics. And
that was rough to watch.
And that's the quantifiable point where the movie becomes bad.
Yeah. Yeah, because you look at the raptors in the tall grass, and you look at
the dangling thing.
Yeah, the dangling train or what is
trailer?
it? A trailer off the edge of the cliff. Flip, that's a good scene. That's such a good scene.
Yeah.
And it's a good concept for a movie. I like that it's we had another site and and they have to go back and the motivations are good and the characters are I love that the protagonist shifts to Jeff Goldblum's character. I think that it's kind of weird that he's kind of a different has kind of different characteristics. But then I guess
the PTSD of the
yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking as well.
And also I hate Lex. God, she's annoying. From the first movie.
But she can hack.
Yeah, it's a Unix system. Yeah. She knows it.
Thank God.
What were we just talking about? The second one. Yeah. So, because have you read you read the book by any chance, Gus?
I have read the first book, and I just loved it, and I was astonished by how different it was, and I could not finish the second book.
Yeah.
Really?
The first book is so good.
I've not read
it as well, and because there's quite a few changes, like the what's it called, the like Spinosaurus in the river scene in the third one. That's in the book.
Yeah.
And that's a great scene. And then the reason that the second one takes place on another island, which I kind of don't like in the film, is because they nuke the island at the end of the book.
Right.
And then so the book was written to be a sequel to both the book and the movie. So Jeff Goldblum dies in the book, John Hammond dies in the book, and then they're just like, oh, they're back now. I don't think John Hammond's in the second book though.
Right.
And also like in the book, not to be like a pretentious in the book guy.
I've read the book.
and yeah, John Hammond is like not a sympathetic character.
Yeah.
He's like, he brought his grandchildren to the island to kill them. And like, because he's like, I don't give a shit. Yeah. He's like a Willy Wonka type character, but like the...
Willy Wonka's a weird parallel to draw, because I wouldn't call Willy Wonka evil either.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
He's more Machiavellian.
Yeah.
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 Well, do anything to prove his...
Yeah. So he... his death in the book is the same as that guy that looks like Tim Roth in the second one, where he gets bitten by all the little compies,
right.
Which is the small dinosaurs that roam up and clean up the island. And it's one of those like, yes, fuck yeah, you deserve to die right now. Yeah. Whereas like John Hammond in the movie is like this sweet old man who didn't know what he was doing.
See, I don't know about that, because I reckon John Hammond is one of the many people in the series who would go to jail in real life.
Oh yeah.
He, as soon as he gets off Jurassic Park, the government is going, you've, like, this is, at least, or even after Lost World. Like, at the end of Lost World, he's getting interviewed on the news. No way. he's killed, he's responsible for so many deaths now. Like, he would be, like, if the guy who started Coney 2012 got disparaged for masturbating in public, then John Hammond is getting executed.
I feel like masturbating in public's worse.
Then recreating dinosaurs and...
Yeah.
Okay.
Gus?
Would you like to...
Yeah, allow me to touch on masturbating in public in this Jurassic talk. No, I mean, you got to think of the far-reaching implications of everybody's actions. I mean, I got to go with the dinosaurs on this one, not to excuse, public sex offenders, but... and the dinos take the cake.
Gus Johnson, public sex offender, defender.
Public sex offender, defender. That could be maybe a new YouTube haiku concept for you, Gus.
Exactly. I gotta write it down.
just go around like door knocking and be like, "Are you a sex offender? Because you're not that bad of a guy."
I thought of a sketch today, Gus, for Suicide Squad Prevention Watch. So not Suicide Prevention Watch, but Suicide Squad Prevention Watch. So you got to stop people watching.
When you
Suicide
think your friend's
Squad.
about to watch Suicide Squad, you have to stop them.
Yeah.
I honest to God might take you up on that. I am not exaggerating. I am writing that down right now, and I might do that.
The other people who are clearly going to jail are the Kirbys from Jurassic Park 3.
Oh yeah, for like sucking everyone up and gaining their powers.
Mr. and Mrs. Kirby. They mention in the film that they say you can't contact America because we don't have a license to be on Isla Sorna. And then
who would issue a license to go there?
I know, right? And then the American army literally turns up at the end of the movie. So you've got it right there. They've committed, I don't know, some kind
treason.
of... It's not treason, but...
It's not treason.
Like, they're going to jail. Or at least they're getting fined. And we never hear from them again. Not that I particularly want to hear from the Kirbys.
Oh, you'd like to hear from Tia Leone though, wouldn't you?
Oh, one day. It was in Spanglish too. Adam Sandler shares the scene with her. Anyway, also Claire from Jurassic World will probably be the designated person held accountable because everyone else of power died. It is her fault, yeah. So it'd be interesting.
I can't see it. Well, better not check.
Yeah.
Just go in there. Just check.
So yeah, I just realised we didn't talk about what the plots of the movies were. Do you think it's too late?
We can try.
Okay, Gus, we usually do this. I was so wrapped up in getting the Skype connection to work that we usually talk about what each movie's about, and we've talked in depth about the plots now. But could you give me what like a brief synopsis, Richard, in your best Jeff Goldblum impression?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. So, the first film, of course, is about.
Could you do a louder Jeff Goldblum impression?
Let's get close to the mic.
Okay.
So the first film is about you got the lots of dinosaurs, and John Hammond builds a park, and we go there and kind of all hell breaks loose, and then in the sequel. It's my time to shine, and I go to the island by myself with Vince Vaughn, and bad things happen again.
Where does the T-Rex end up?
The T-Rex ends up in, of course, in San Diego, and the third film, I'm kind of losing it.
Yeah, you're kind of going into a Jack Nicholson there. Do the next two is Jack Nicholson.
You got Alan Grant comes back as himself and goes back to the island with Tia Leone, and they gotta find his William H. Macy's son.
Yeah. And what's Jurassic World about?
Who should I do Jurassic World as?
Do it as a velociraptor, but you still have to make words. That was more
Jurassic World. We finally get to see the park open.
It's a very eloquent velociraptor.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like,
this is taken from the abandoned pitch of the human dinosaur hybrids.
I'm still trying to cough up that pterodactyl impression. Yeah, we've had complaints on the podcast before for not having succinct synopses of stories, so I don't know why out of all the characters I would have asked you to do that as Jeff Goldblum.
We've had complaints that they're boring and they're not funny as well.
Damn kids these days.
Imagine if there was a similar complaint we got for like they got for Jurassic Park 3 was it's boring and it's not funny.
That's the first one.
Jurassic Park's not even
the
funny.
7% that didn't like it are like, well, it's just boring and it's not funny. I just said the same thing, but I just slowed it down.
You know what I'm realizing now too, and if they would have actually had Jeff Goldblum read the audiobooks for like the first two ones, they would have been easily 5 times as long.
And it's
chapter 1, of course. It's a great
you got to send somebody into the sound booth every 5 minutes and poke him just because he keeps skipping.
Get it back on track. Another thing, I'm going to jump in here and talk about a difference between the book and the movie.
Yep.
Get on my pretentious spectacles.
Rich has just taken my glasses off to put on himself.
And talk about...
we have the same vision impairment though, so it's fine.
I'm wearing contacts though.
You must be freaking out.
I can see
through walls!
I can see through time. So, another difference between the book and the movie that I really liked in the book, and it's like considered like quite a good scene in the film, but I think it was done better in the book, and Gus, you might remember this as well, is that the scene in the film when because they talk about they made all the dinosaurs female so they can't mate with each other. It turns out they use bullfrog DNA. They can, when they're all in an all-female environment, they can change genders and breed. And then Alan Grant,
well, gender's a spectrum, so
yeah, well, it's fluid, obviously. And so the female can change its gender to not just to male. There's more. And then Alan Grant, when he's out in the wild, finds dinosaur eggs and realizes, oh shit, they've been breeding, and that's how we realize that there's more dinosaurs. In the book, however, there's a
he just gets raped by a dinosaur,
and he's like, wait a minute, that's a guy.
Clever girl.
So he, John Hammond has Samuel Jackson's character has a computer program that like scans the island every 20 minutes and says how many of each dinosaur there are there, so it's to track if any of them died. And so it's like it says 1 T-Rex, 127 compies, and like 4 stegosauri and stuff like that. And then they talk about, I saw this, I saw a Stegosaurus over here, and he's like, no, well, that's not possible because it's over here. And then he's like, oh, so your system, does it just look for, does it search the island? Is it just looking for those ones? I said, oh, it's just searching for these because we know there's not going to be more. And he says, okay, so you're searching for 127 compies. They're like, yeah. And he says, can you search for 128? And then he searches for 128, and then it shows up that there are 128 compies. And he's like, okay, can you search for more? And then there's like 300 compies on the island.
Right.
And then he's like, okay, just do an open search. And then they find out there's just a shitload more dinosaurs than they thought.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
That's a real cool scene. And I'm kind of disappointed that wasn't in the movie.
It's a better scene for a book, though. The movie, it's just, he just finds an egg.
Well, because it's such...
That's
I'll take off
visual.
my pretentious glasses now and give them back to you.
In this audio medium, you'll take off your visual gag.
And yeah, it's just like, I feel like it could have worked in the movie because, Spielberg's a master of tension, and like to have, because it could be like, you see a dinosaur earlier and then realise, wait a minute, that's in a different paddock. Oh, that's weird. And then they come back to John Hammond and like, oh, I saw that over there. And then it's like, oh, no, our system's perfect. And then they find a hole in it and poke at it a little bit, and then that's when the whole thing gets blown wide open.
Right. Okay.
I like that.
Gus, do you have any glaring omissions from the book that you wish were in the movie?
Yeah, I think the pacing of the first movie was so good. I think that the book itself is so good, but I don't think that anything in the movie was hurt because of omissions from the book. Obviously, one of the biggest things that stood out to me from the book was that almost all stuff to do with like the whole pterodactyl stuff was completely omitted from the movie. Like they had this big thing in the book. They had this big, like, I think glass bubble pterodactyl kind of sanctuary thing. But just so many things, and characters like Hammond, like we touched on before, and Robert Muldoon were very different as well. But I don't think it hurt the movie just omitting some simple stuff like that.
They're their own beasts, and to anyone listening to this podcast that's a fan of the franchise, I would recommend reading the book because it is really good. Okay. And also, like Gennaro, the lawyer, the shit-eating lawyer, the blood-sucking lawyer, who gets the most unceremonious, hilarious death. He gets eaten on the toilet. He's a fucking badass in the book. Right. He's one of the coolest characters. Yeah. He's the one that goes out instead of Ellie to get the to turn the power back on.
Okay.
So the river scene and the aviary scene from the third one are both from the first book.
Okay. It's an interesting way to do it, isn't it? It's sort of what the Hobbit trilogy did, was to take scraps that weren't included in past movies and turn that into a movie. That's sort of what Jurassic Park 3 did. Yeah,
because I think there's some stuff from the second book that's not in the movie that they put in the... But the dinosaur going to San Diego isn't even in the second book.
That's weird. That's so Spielberg, though.
Yeah.
That's such a Spielberg misfire to be like, and the dinosaur goes to the city. Because one thing we've joked about, not recently, but a few times we've joked about on this podcast is the idea of... no, I've got a 9/11.
We joke about 9/11 a lot on this podcast.
We don't joke about it. We mention it. He's from America. It's offensive to say that.
He was affected. No, I'm sorry.
What was I saying?
But no, Gus has a video about 9/11 as well.
Yeah, he does. That's how I knew it was okay to mention, which I'll do.
He's like, yeah, I've made fun of it.
What was I just saying? Shit.
The Spielbergian misfire.
Yeah. Yeah. So we've joked about the trope of setting your sequel in space. Like, in the first few episodes of this podcast, like we did an Ace Ventura episode, and my idea was Ace Ventura in space.
Space Ventura.
Jesus.
But a similar one is the old same monster, different location, which Predator does. Oh, yeah. Predator 2 is set in the city, whereas Predator 1 is set in a jungle.
Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan.
Yeah.
Where the last 15 minutes takes place in Manhattan.
Yep. So in a way, it's almost like, I wonder if that's where it came from. It was the natural progression from, there's dinosaurs in the jungle. What's the way to up the ante? There's dinosaurs in the jungle that is San Diego City.
Why San Diego?
Yeah.
I guess San Diego Zoo.
The zoo.
Just answered my own question there.
Where's San Diego, Gus?
California. That is all I know.
Okay.
I am very geographically...
Who was the 37th president, Gus?
Oh, Jesus. James Monroe. Just spitballing here. Wait. No, I was about 100 years off.
It'd be like Nixon, wouldn't it?
I don't know.
It'd be close to Nixon.
Yeah, it's Nixon, Carter, somebody.
Yeah,
around
37th
there.
President Richard Nixon.
Oh, Richard, yeah. You
Oh,
only know
God.
that because you share his
James
name.
Monroe is such a shitty guess.
You share his name and his
Monroe.
policies, Richard.
And his chin. I just hide it under a beard.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll never know.
I am not a crook. That's all I know about Richard Nixon.
So, something we talk about a lot
wasn't a
on this podcast is titles.
It's Jurassic Park. Oh, sorry.
We talk about titles a lot on this podcast. And the Jurassic Park series, so I'm really pedantic about my titles, Gus. Like, I haven't seen The Final Destination because it went Final Destination 1, 2, 3. Then the fourth one was called The Final Destination. And then the fifth one was called Final Destination 5.
5-0 Destination, I believe.
Oh, that's a hiccup right there.
Yeah,
That's
I
not
hate
good.
it so much. And it's like, I don't even mind if they retroactively just go back and... Star Wars are doing that. Star Wars are rebranding all their titles so it's Star Wars name of film, not Star Wars Episode 1, because it was all inconsistent in their official branding. And I find the Jurassic Park titles to be particularly grating. And let me tell you why. This was almost the first series that gave me this pedantic anger about it. So you've got the first film called Jurassic Park, of course. No better name for it. Then the second one is called The Lost World Jurassic Park. If that wasn't bad enough, the third one's called Jurassic Park 3. There's no Jurassic Park 2! Like, it's not called Jurassic Park 2, and also, it's so weird that it's the name of the film and then colon name of the franchise. And I actually took to the movies subreddit the other day and I asked if there was ever another case of this happened, because you have similar things. You have like I don't know, I can't think of
Rogue One, a Star Wars story.
Rogue One, a Star Wars story, but I feel like that's okay because a Star Wars story is their official branding for their spin-off films. The main series aren't called Star Wars stories, you know? So I asked, are there other sequels where the franchise name is the subtitle? And this is what some examples people gave me. T2, Trainspotting, which just came out. Rambo First Blood Part 2. Hellbound, Hellraiser 2. Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2. Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3. But as far as I can tell, The Lost World is the only one that doesn't have a number. So it's not The Lost World Jurassic Park 2. You know, and it's not... Yeah. Jurassic Park 2, The Lost World.
Yeah, that's rough.
And so it's just the strange, like, and it's so such a strange decision that you know it was intentional as well. Like, I get it that you want to keep the branding in there, but why not Jurassic Park 2, The Lost World?
Michael Crichton went ahead and just called the book The Lost World.
And The Lost World is actually a, like, old black and white dinosaur film as well.
It's a black and white book as well.
Unlike those other...
Not a picture book.
So I've got a better title to propose to you guys for Jurassic Park 2.
Jurassic Park 2.
Jurassic Park B.
Ooh.
So I was thinking about this. There are no sequels that are called B that I can think of anyway. And it's such an obvious idea. Because, so they specifically mentioned that Isla Sorna is Site B. Call it Jurassic Park B. If that came out today, people would get amped for it. Because, imagine if you'd heard that they're making a sequel to Jurassic Park, you didn't know the title, and then a teaser trailer comes out, and then it says Jurassic Park B. Or, like, a poster gets released and it just says B. Or, you know? Like there's implication to Jurassic Park B.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, and they do it on a budget of, like, $20 million, so it's a B movie as well.
I guess that's a good reason to not do it, isn't it? It draws...
That is good though, you know, and I like that. It makes sense, and I'm not just kissing ass because I'm not getting paid for this, but I think that is a legitimately good idea.
But I like how you're like, as soon as Gus contributes, like, yeah, actually, it's not a good idea.
yeah, you're right, Gus. It's a shit idea. I'm sorry.
He was
Start over.
If you like it, no.
And then call the third one Jurassic Park 3. That'd be kind of so absurd it'd be funny to me.
Yeah. Jurassic Park: The Return.
Yeah. I don't know.
Alan's back.
You could, I guess, you could just not call it not make Jurassic Park 3, and then
that's probably the ideal situation.
If you went Jurassic Park P, Jurassic Park B, Jurassic World. That's sort of a neat little package there.
I don't know. It'd be cool if there was like Euro Jurassic Park. That'd be a cool sequel.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, I agree. Or Jurassic Park San Diego, you know?
Yeah. Actually, Jurassic Park San Diego would be cool.
Yeah. What do you guys think of the titles? Do you have anything you want? I like Jurassic World. I think that's cool.
Yeah, I love Jurassic World.
It almost feels like Jurassic World is a direct sequel to Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
And the other two are like spin-off films almost, which they're not, but that's what it feels like.
Yeah, I when Jurassic World was first out, everyone was like, so what's next? Jurassic Universe? And like going up in arms about it. But I was like, that's a great title because you got Disneyland, Disney World.
Yeah.
It's like, and then hearing it's about the park is going to be open. That was so exciting to me.
Yeah.
And then they cast Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard, everyone's favourite action star. Like, you know, it's...
And the guy who plays...
the kid in Iron Man 3.
And the guy who plays the guy from Life of Pi, Richard Parker.
Oh, yeah.
So, Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Spider-Man
he's not Richard
and
Parker. He says Richard Parker in both of those films.
That's what I was getting
They
at.
came out the same year.
Yeah.
And you hear him going...
And Vincent
Richard
D'Onofrio,
Parker.
too. Legend.
Oh, yeah.
No, Richard Parker, no!
Richard Parker.
Cool.
Thank you for saying Vincent D'Onofrio's name. I've never heard it out loud. I've
D'Onofrio. Who's he?
He's the bad guy.
I'm spitballing.
Okay.
I assume it's Vincent D'Onofrio, but, you know,
No, we're
people on the
taking
internet
it
will
as
probably
doctrine now,
fact check
dude.
us.
Yeah, man. You're American. You know more than we
The
do.
mighty Gus has spoken. Lord of YouTube Haiku has descended upon
Lord
us.
of pronouncing Vincent D'Onofrio.
Has neglected his studying.
Yeah, he's in it as well. And we'll get to him, because I've got something to say about him.
Before we move on, before we continue the
Sorry,
franchise...
Gus, did you have anything to say about the
sorry,
titles?
true.
What do you think of them?
Titles wise, I don't have any problem. Well, I mean, I do have problems with it, but I don't have any problem with Jurassic World. I have heard some people talk too, like, oh, you know, they're just trying to make it grand, you know, Jurassic World. But it makes sense. It's a rebranding of the franchise of Jurassic Park. I had no problem with it.
And
That's
in
all
universe as well.
Yeah.
In universe, it's like
Yeah.
people like Jurassic Park because Jack Johnson's character wears a Jurassic Park shirt.
Yeah.
And they're like, don't you think that's a little bit insensitive? And so there's obviously a stigma around the name Jurassic Park, whereas this is like calling it Jurassic World is like it's still the same thing, but you don't have to be scared.
I love that there was some marketing guy's decision is like, well, there's a stigma around Jurassic Park, so let's change the word park. Like, clearly that's the contentious word. Another thing, this is sort of off on another tangent. Gus, a common complaint about Jurassic World is the overindulgence of product placement. What do you think of that?
Oh, hell yeah. I mean, it was basically a long-ass Samsung commercial, among many other things. I don't know. I wish that I could have watched the original. Like, I'm talking about, like, the first two especially.
Yeah.
When I was of that era. Because on these rewatches, too, I've noticed there's always an element of product placement. And Spielberg is certainly no stranger to product placement in his movies.
Yeah.
But I feel like I wonder if it would have been as glaring to me as this Jurassic World one was if I had watched the first two during the time. But it just seemed a little obnoxious at times, truthfully.
I'm gonna disagree with you, Gus. Skype disconnects.
All right, yeah, I'm out. Thanks.
Because I think the product placement in Jurassic World is actually quite clever. Because real theme parks have product-sponsored rides and things.
So I agreed with you until we rewatched it the other day.
Okay.
Because I said like Comcast presents Indominus Rex. I was like, that's hilarious because they're getting their actual product placement out of the way and they're kind of hanging a lampshade on it, if you will.
Yeah.
But then shots like where she drives up to Chris Pratt's little bungalow, and it's like it lingers on her car for a little. Didn't work on me because I don't remember what kind of car it was.
Yeah.
That's very obvious product placement that doesn't need to be in the film.
Yeah.
And there is quite a few moments like that. Like he drops their phone and it's like, make sure you see it's a Motorola or whatever it is.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Yeah, I guess when it's not in-universe product placement.
Yeah, the in-universe product placement is great, and if they'd stuck to that, that would be great. Because even like, because it was the kids' phone. If it had been Claire's phone.
Yeah.
It's like, that kind of would make sense if we see it a couple of times because she would be given it by the sponsors of the park and stuff like that. Speaking of overindulgence in Jurassic World, should we talk about the death?
Yeah, okay, sure.
Do you know the death? If I say the death in Jurassic World, do you know what I'm talking about, Gus?
Nope, too vague. I want to hear you tackle it first.
Zara, the assistant's death in Jurassic World, got a lot of flack.
Oh.
the pterodactyl, she gets picked up by a pterodactyl, dunked underwater, and then as she's being eaten by the pterodactyl gets eaten by a mosasaur. So
that was too much.
Yeah, bit overindulgent. A lot of people say she didn't deserve the death because she didn't really do anything wrong.
Yeah.
But then, it's the whole thing, you have to deserve a death. Does that just... It amps up the tension if an undeserving character dies, but then why do it have to be so... But it's also the only on-screen death of a female in the entire franchise.
Wow.
Apart from the dinosaurs.
Yeah. Which we don't know if that dinosaur, the raptor who got killed by gymnastics, was a female.
Well, no. Well, there's heaps of dinosaurs die, but not.
I'd imagine
Dinosaur Rex dies, and she was.
I'd imagine the raptor who got killed by gymnastics was a female because she was so distracted by gymnastics, and as we know, only females give a shit about gymnastics. Am I right, my other sexist pigs? High five the camera, Gus. Yeah.
And also, what was I going to say? Yeah, and also the fact in the gymnastics scene that the raptor turns around to "Hey you."
Yeah.
It's like, "Hey you," and the raptor's like, "Who, me?" Ugh!
And then in the next film, a raptor goes, "Alan." they're not only are they learning to hear us, but they're learning to speak. Imagine
then they like ride alongside a motorcycle and
that's in the Lost World book. That's what I was going to say before. The raptors riding alongside a motorbike is in Michael Crichton's The Lost World.
That's because I read that Steven Spielberg, when he was like pitching Jurassic Park 3 and 4, he was like, I want to do raptors and motorcycles.
Yeah, that's because...
And then that followed through for Jurassic World. And so Steven Spielberg was like, Joe Johnston, you've just done The Rocketeer, mate. You can do Jurassic Park 2. And then they got the script, and then he's like, "Nah, actually, I'm going to do it. You can do the third one." Okay. Imagine that. Imagine fucking Steven Spielberg being like, "Oh, I'm going to do the second one with all these great scenes, and you take the third one though."
So let's go to continue the franchise now.
Cool. I want to go before you because I've seen over your shoulder.
But I kind of my next segment was kind of going to play off what I know your idea is. So I was going to make you go last.
So you're good.
But this is clay. This podcast is a ball of clay,
right?
And we're both in charge, so we can mold it.
Screw me over.
No, I'm saying we talk about our.
Well, because I want to pitch my one as an idea because it's an actual idea as well as being a joke. Whereas it looks like you just got jokes.
Yes, I promise you. I know what you're thinking, but I promise you, it's still going to work in your favour if you go last.
Oh, I feel like it's going to ruin the joke.
What do you think, Gus?
God, I'm just like the kid that comes over and the parent starts fighting with his child, and I just want to back away into the kitchen and grab a juice box from the fridge.
Well, why don't you ask Gus what he thinks?
I trust your years of friendship.
Well, we've only been friends about a year.
We've known each other for a while, but then one day AJ came out of my house and asked to be best friends, and I was drunk, so I said yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, okay, first let me explain the segment.
Okay.
How about that?
Yeah.
Okay, so this segment, I like that doesn't solve anything. It's just stalling. This segment is where we each pitch a new movie or a new TV show or...
a new entry in the saga.
Yeah, in whatever form. Maybe it's another Time Zone arcade game, which I've played that.
It's another pinball machine.
Yeah, another pinball machine in the dress. And Gus is like, damn, they took pinball machine. That's my one. All right, Richard, what are you pitching us for Continue the Franchise?
All right, well... my one is kind of just like, it started off as just a title and I've got a couple of different ways it can go. Mm-hmm. But then, it's spitballed into an actual good idea because they touched on it with Vincent D'Onofrio's character wanting to use the Raptors in a war setting. Mm-hmm. So my pitch, and I'll give you a couple of these, is Jurassic World War. Mm-hmm. And so... it's basically just Vincent gets his wish from the first, even though he's dead now. He gets his wish.
Well, he died off screen. We just saw a blood splatter.
True. Maybe he just cut an artery.
Yeah.
And survived. So I'd like to see them be used in a war... actually, no, I don't want to see that. I just want to have a film called Jurassic World War.
Yeah.
And then I thought, why don't we chuck time travel into the mix?
Yeah.
And then we could do... they go back to fight Nazis and we do Jurassic World War 2. Or, it would be cool, and you would hate it, if it was just called Jurassic World War 3, the next film, because it's World War 3, the film actually is like a war film, and it's World War 3 happens, but now there are dinosaurs. So what's the implication? Who gets to the dinosaurs first? Who uses them?
Right, yeah.
And,
the arms race of...
Yeah, the arms race, but the dinosaurs
mutually assured destruction.
Yeah. And so, but then calling it Jurassic World War 3, because you've got a number in it, but it's not the third film in either
And it's also not World War 3, it's Jurassic World War.
Well, so it's Jurassic.
Like, there haven't been 3 Jurassic World Wars.
No, but it's Jurassic
World.
No, I think you mean Jurassic World War B.
Yes.
What about Jurassic World War Z? And it's dinosaurs versus zombies.
Whoa. Crossover.
So, Richard, I've just realised what you read over my shoulder was not a clear indication of what I was planning to do, and so I was correct in wanting you to go last.
Okay.
But I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna go fucking last, dude. Gus, what's your continue the franchise? Tell us.
Okay, I got one too. This is like from the bottom of my heart. I have been wanting this actually for years. First, I want to pose a question. Have either of you guys played the game Jurassic Park Trespasser?
I wish I could say yes, but I haven't.
Have you heard of it?
I've heard of Jurassic Park games.
Jurassic Park Trespasser is such a notorious kind of cult classic video game that was released alongside Jurassic Park, or whatever the hell it's called, The Lost World : Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park.
It was, oh god, it was a shit show. Is the thing. I believe that only a limited amount of copies were released. It was tried to handle by this new studio that was kind of like a little sub-studio of DreamWorks.
Yeah.
And it pushed like these revolutionary physics where you were controlling like this woman that crash landed an airplane on the island that had no affiliation to InGen or anything, and she was simply trying to escape the island. The like whole system was so screwed up that the developers only let you use like one arm of the woman, so it's a first-person game. It's so clunky. It is so beautifully flawed, but there is like, for its time, it was also groundbreaking in so many ways, but it was so poorly handled. It was a complete shit show, and my continue the franchise offering is, for the next Jurassic World or whatever the hell movie comes out, I want to see a fully reimagined, fully remastered, same name, title, Jurassic Park Trespasser, like they did with like Star Wars Battlefront. I want them to fix it and make it good, because I played the shit out of that game when I was a kid, and it was so fun.
Awesome, because I actually, after hearing you talk about it, I have read about that. Because it's like an actual canon sequel, isn't it?
Yeah, the story is all there too. I mean, it's its own.
That doesn't even sound like a bad story. Someone randomly coming to the island can happen once in the series.
Yeah.
That doesn't feel like it's reaching.
Yeah, and you without having to tie it into anything. That's a cool idea. You're the first person to pitch a video game.
Yeah, that's true.
I've always wanted to, but I've never had an idea. But great idea, Gus.
You win.
I win.
My continue the franchise.
Follow that, AJ.
My continue the franchise is just a direct sequel to Jurassic World, but it's called Jurassic Waters, and it's combining Jurassic Park with Jaws, which they haven't done, which is a fresh idea.
Why don't you call it Jurassic World?
No, it's called Jurassic Waters.
I think my title's better. Gus, do you want to weigh in?
I gotta go with Jurassic World. You know me, I'm a sucker for the pun every time. No question.
And so it's set on the ocean surrounding Isla Nublar, however you want to say it. And the only other thing I wrote down was bring back Sam Neill and Jeff Goldblum, but that's probably not a good idea. I just want to see them back.
Yeah,
I just really like those actors. But yeah, wouldn't that be cool? Like a water Jurassic Park.
Well, because they've established that there are mosasaurs.
Yeah, exactly. So and then maybe you do Jurassic Winds next, and it's a pterodactyl-centric one. You know what I mean? Like, they've made 4 movies, and only one of those movies isn't completely on an island with dinosaurs. And it was shit. That part sucked.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I feel like that's the obvious thing to do, is change location, keep the dinosaurs, see what happens. You know? Because it could snow. You could have a snowy Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Snow.
Jurassic Winter. Ooh, Jurassic Winter. Cool. So now that we've got that out of the way,
I've heard AJ's idea.
I want to play one final game with you guys before we sort of finish up here.
Should we talk about what's actually happening for the sequel?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. There is a Jurassic World 2 coming out. It's
title as of yet.
It doesn't have a name yet. And if they call it Jurassic World 2, I'm gonna commit Suicide Squad. Like, I'm gonna be so mad because it's not the second film in the series, Richard.
Well, I guess that they're establishing this as a new franchise, but they want
could
it.
be.
But I mean, why would you do that?
Yeah, there's so much cooler opportunities for titles. The Lost Park Jurassic World.
I wanted to mention that. Yeah, I hope they call it the Lost Park: Jurassic World.
Switches everything around. Because in that whole series,
and then Jurassic World 3.
the only like phrases they've used have been world and park just over and over again. So Jurassic World 2, whatever it's going to be called, is going to be directed by J.A. Buyana. No title yet. Reportedly won't be dinosaurs chasing people on an island.
Yeah, he said it's going to be darker. And J.A. Buyana directed A Monster Calls and The Impossible.
Cool. And also, before I'll just briefly mention that I say that a lot. That we should rename this podcast AJ Briefly Mentions Things before moving on. So obviously Jurassic Park 4 was in development hell for like 14 years before it got changed to Jurassic World. And as is what I would call a common fact, but I'm a pretentious movie nerd. A commonly known fact, I should say, that the winning concept for JP4 was going to be human dinosaur hybrids or human dog hybrids, giant dinosaur dog hybrids.
Canine Park.
And there is, I believe, concept for this release, and it looks good, but for another movie, please don't put.
Well, actually, I'd say that the winning concept for Jurassic Park 4 was Jurassic World because they made it.
The idea was like, what would humans look like if dinosaurs evolved into humans and not apes?
They was going to have gun-wielding raptors. Yeah. Which is fucking dope.
Kind of glad it didn't happen.
Yeah.
That's where I would have tapped out of the series. That would have been entirely too much.
Whatever, Gus. You would have gone to the midnight screening.
I would have bought the ticket, damn it, you got me. But I would have been spiteful about it.
But like, it would have been kind of cool to have like. You thought Jurassic Park 3 was bad? You know?
Yeah.
Try Jurassic Park 3B.
Jump the mosasaur, as it were. Alright, I want you guys to... This is a new game we're going to play. We've sort of played it with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles podcast we did. I'm going to alternate between you guys, and you guys are each going to pitch me what the sequel's about. I'm going to give you a title, and you're going to tell me what the movie is about. So Richard, and they're all sequels to Jurassic World.
Yeah.
So Richard, what's Jurassic World Record about?
It's about a Chris Pratt's character returns.
Yeah. Owen,
because he realised that. So Jurassic World Record is about the characters within the film realising that. Jurassic World is only the 4th highest grossing film of all time now, so they want to go for the highest grossing. So it's them trying to it's like a mockumentary about them trying to make Jurassic World 2 and make it be the highest grossing film of all time.
Gus, can you please pitch me Jurassic World Trade Center?
Oh, you'll be good.
Jurassic World Trade Center.
Yeah.
A series of the Velociraptors we already know are incredibly smart. So on one of the aircraft that is destined to leave the island with some humans, some Velociraptors hijack it using their sharp talons that are snuck past security.
Yeah.
And they fly it into a residential building.
Oh wow! Okay, that's great. Richard, Jurassic World issues.
I feel like it already is Jurassic World issues.
Right.
It's
Gus.
a pretty big issue that there's a fucking dinosaurs.
Gus, Jurassic World of Warcraft.
Oh, Jurassic World of Warcraft. Well, a movie is created about it, and the director spends the entirety of the marketing defending the movie.
Richard, Jurassic World Heavyweight Champion.
Oh.
It has to be The Rock fighting dinosaurs.
Yeah.
I'm answering that one for you. Gus, Jurassic World Leaders.
Jurassic World Leaders. Putin is given a 24-hour period of time with a full bottle of Svedka and a 40-40 rifle, and he is challenged to kill as many velociraptors as he can for the glory of Mother Russia.
Oh my God.
What? He does it.
He does it.
I would just watch. That's a whole season of a show right there. I would watch that.
Richard, Jurassic World Cup.
Dinosaur football.
Nice. Gus, do they have World Vision in America?
World Vision. Oh, like the charity.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So Jurassic World Vision.
Jurassic World Vision. You know what? It's a special discount movie because for only 48 cents a day, you pay that money and you get a free ticket to see the next Jurassic World movie. It's the price of a cup of coffee. So,
And lastly, Richard, what is Jurassic World news about?
You know, the what is it? Jurassic, at the end of Jurassic Park 2, they're watching the news about the Jurassic the dinosaur coming to San Diego.
Yeah.
It's that for 90 minutes.
Wow. I love it.
You just see that whole news report. Imagine how fucking nuts the news would go.
Yeah,
not only are dinosaurs real now, but there's one in San Diego. And it's killing everyone.
Oh my gosh. Okay, cool. That about wraps up our
any final thoughts?
Yeah,
about
any final thoughts, Gus?
Saga?
You know what? I am so glad I was able to opine on one of my favorite franchises of all time. I was disappointed by Jurassic World a little bit, but I felt like I knew it going into it.
Yeah.
So I wasn't surprised by my disappointment, and I have my fingers crossed for the next installment.
It was quite a polarizing film, Jurassic World.
Yeah,
I think
seeing the park open and hearing that music gave me chills in the cinema.
Yeah, but at the same time, I remember what did I make? I think I wrote a blog. I wrote a blog about how it's worrying that Colin Trevorrow is directing Star Wars 9 because Jurassic World was so bad. And when I sent it to some friends to like proofread, they were like, "But Jurassic World has rave reviews," and I was like, "What?" Like, I liked it, but I thought everyone else hated it. And you go on I saw on Reddit the other day someone commenting like, "Oh man, like Jurassic World, I feel like I'm the only person who hated it." And I was like, I felt like I was the only person who liked it. So
it's stupid, yeah. People would need upvotes.
So for our final segment, Gus, we do franchise roulette. Could you give us a random number? And that random number, what's out of how many? 200.
I just should find the friggin'. We haven't done it in so long.
While we're doing that, Gus,
here we go. Franchise list.
I've
got it now. I don't care. All right, Gus, give us a number between 1 and 286.
Oh, Jesus. I'm going to go with the number that Nickelodeon was on the channel dialer when I was a kid, and that is 22.
22. So next week we'll be doing the Divergent series.
Oh, I am so sorry. I would love to publicly apologize for putting
you only get half a movie as well.
So we had a guest star named Mitch on once. He did TMNT with us, and he just randomly said a number, and that number was the 20-film Freddy vs. Jason franchise.
Like, it wasn't just Nightmare on Elm Street, it wasn't just Friday the 13th, it was both.
So, 3? 4?
There's 3. There's a 4th television film
That's
at
right.
some stage of development, which may or may not ever happen.
So a 3-film franchise is welcoming, to be honest with you, Gus.
Thank you, Gus.
Okay, I feel better about that.
Hey, Gus, tell us what you do. Why have we got you guest starring? Why are you famous?
Well, if I am a YouTuber right now, I put out 3 videos a week. I focus mostly on short form comedy. I try to post my stuff to various subreddits, which is, I'm sure that's where you guys found me, on YouTube Haiku. You can look up my channel name is Gus Johnson, or Gus Tunes. That's GUSTOONZ. And I just make goofy little shit 3 times a week, and that's what I do.
Yep.
Nice.
The first video I saw of you was something about toilet paper, and you were running around a field with toilet paper.
Oh yeah. I've probably like 20% of the videos I've ever made have been bathroom themed.
Can I ask
I'm getting
you?
Typecast.
Can I ask you what's your favorite video you've made? Can you describe it or pitch it?
My favorite video I made, it doesn't make a lot of sense on paper in terms of a screenplay. It's a 30-second video called Storms A Comin'. And it's just me in my yard during a heavy rainstorm. My mom is filming me, and I'm screaming at the top of my lungs. The only thing I say is, "Storms A Comin', storms a comin'." And I'm stripping down in my boxers and rolling around in the mud and just screaming bloody murder. But it's a lot of fun. It's a good
my favorite video of yours is the Vera Bradley.
Yeah.
AJ sent that to me ages ago, and I thought it was friggin' hilarious. And then we were just like watching shit on TV the other day, and this was when, like, you know, we were leading up to the podcast with Gus Johnson, and I put on the Vera Bradley video, and I was like, "This is the guy!" And ever since then, I've been excited for the podcast. Before then, I was dreading it. But can you just say the line?
Yeah, God, it was just like there's. Do you know what? You know what the thing is too, and I should feel bad about this. Is like explaining my videos to people half the time. I get to halfway through and I'm like, this is pretty stupid. This is like stupid as shit. There's a brand of like fashion or clothing or whatever in a mall, and the camera zoomed in on it. It zooms out, and I just walk up to the camera and I say, "Oh boy, is there a bathroom in this mall? Because I have to go pee, Vera Bradley." And it's a total right between the eyes.
We had it on loop the other night. And like a toothpick falls out of your mouth in the middle of the line. Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah. Can I ask before we go as well? I just like to know this about foreigners. If someone says like New Zealand to you, what's your impression of New Zealand?
In New Zealand, well, honestly, I am biased because me and my buddies are hardcore fans, but Lord of the Rings just comes right to the mind. Boom, yeah. Lord of the Rings.
That's cool. I'll take that.
Which is a pretty good thing.
It's now,
and that weird ass, like, what's that stuff? This might be Australia, but what the hell is that shit that you put on bread sometimes?
Marmite.
Yeah.
I had some breakfast this morning.
Australians have Marmite, we have Vegemite, which
no, it's the other way around.
Vegemite's
I've heard of. Yeah, Vegemite's Australian, Marmite's here.
Yeah, I had Marmite for breakfast this morning.
I don't want to pass judgment, but I am not a fan. But I respect what you guys got going on over there. I'm going to tell you what.
People who don't like Marmite don't know how to eat it.
Yeah. Okay. How have you had Marmite?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I have. I had it on toast once.
Okay, how thick was it?
It was like, oh god, I don't know, like 2-3 millimeters.
Yuck.
It was.
It's disgusting. What you need to do is
it too much?
Is you get butter, like you butter your bread as normal, and then just the tiniest little scraping of Marmite.
Nothing in the world tastes like it.
Yeah, it's actually quite good. Hugh Jackman does an instructional video on Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah,
if you look that up.
How to eat Vegemite. I gotta do that. I gotta go on for Marmite round 2. Yeah. Round B. Sorry about that.
if you're ever in New Zealand, if you ever come to Auckland, New Zealand, just hang out with us. We'll give you some Marmite.
And if we're ever in Wisconsin,
in the middle of nowhere, Wisconsin, we'll bring some with us.
Whereabouts in the States is Wisconsin? Up?
Up, very up.
Right.
Touching Canada.
Yeah,
so
right.
Way up there, pretty cold.
Okay. Nice. I thought you were somewhere north because in your video where you look at your cat 11,000 times, you can see snow out the window. And that was my clue.
Yep. That was our original way of finding you. Right. So he's near the snow.
Find the snow. There you go.
That narrows it down to half of the United States.
Cool. So thank you very much, Gus. If you want to find us, more of stuff that we do, we are Cult Popture on YouTube and SoundCloud and iTunes and Facebook and Gmail and Twitter.
On Gmail.
On Gmail, it's cultpopturemedia@gmail.com. Reach out to us if you want to tell us why Jurassic Park 3 is the best film ever made. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep. Cool. Thank you very much, Gus. If you ever want to come back, let us know. Maybe scheduling this was a nightmare for both of us, so hopefully we'll have even better luck next time.
Have you enjoyed your time on the podcast?
Oh, I loved it. I mean, yeah, what a great opportunity to just vent about stuff that I actually love to watch. So it was good.
It was great having you, Gus.
Yeah. Cool,
Thanks
man.
I really appreciate it.
You're a top bloke. That's what we say in New Zealand.
Good on you, mate.
All right.
Oh,
thanks, fellas.
One last thing before you go. Can you do a New Zealand accent?
I can sort of do one, not the best, but I'm trying my best here. I watched about 42 hours of behind the scenes at Lord of the Rings, so I've trying to channel my Peter Jackson a little bit.
There's a couple of really good ones.
Yeah. Jackson. You could coach that. You could get there.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Solid 62%.
When you told your friends that you're doing a podcast with New Zealand, were they like, oh yeah, they're going to talk like this all the time?
That was the Jurassic World of impressions.
Good, but not as good as the
yeah.
Cool. All right. Goodbye, everybody.
See you, Gus. But don't hang
See
up.
You
don't hang up. Just stop recording. I'm going to go stop recording over here.
Cut the record. And so now music will play, and it goes.